Hello everyone. I'm going to start a demo about how to design drones with Fusion. This is part of our workshop series. In case you missed the workshop, you can join us today. This is an hour long, just so you guys know how long we're going to be here. And on your screen, you should be seeing a link on how to download Fusion if you don't have Fusion right now. So I'm going to leave this here a little bit. You can go to Autodesk Education or Autodesk Workshop as it is listed there. And just going to give you guys a few seconds to check this out, download Fusion, make sure everybody can join us and have fun for the next hour or so. I can see some hearts showing on the screen. That's cool. Thank you. So we have some other things you're going to need to download for this to work, and especially if you missed the first one, don't worry, you can understand what we're going to do here. We might be recording this, I'm double checking, but I just let you guys know that we are recording even though you're not participating. That's my disclaimer for today. And then I would like to introduce myself. My name is Fabiola Clayton. Fab Clayton for the people here at Autodesk, and my students nickname me Fab, so if you guys need to contact me, you can just say Fab. That's totally cool. You see my email there on the screen. I am Education Program Manager here at Autodesk, and I help schools and students such as yourselves get used to Fusion 360 along with other products here at Autodesk. I have more than 20 years of experience in teaching, mostly for higher education. So I work as a teacher, as a chair, as a dean for community colleges, for technical schools, so many, many years of education there, working with students. I have a degree in architecture, a master's in architecture, specialization in pedagogy for higher education. So just want to let you guys know that. And the drone we're going to be working on today was designed by Eli Delia. He is the owner of Egometrics, which is a company in California. So here's a picture of Eli right there. And he's awesome for allowing us to use his drone. He also asked me to let you guys know that the drone will be kind of your own by the end of this. He doesn't want everybody to have the same drone at the end of this, okay? So hopefully everybody's gonna have a little slightly different drone by the end of this series of webinars. So before we start for good, please download some files here that we're going to need to open in Fusion. They are located at this address that you see on your screen on our Autodesk box. I'm going to keep talking, but don't worry, on the next slides, you will see this address over and over again, so you don't have to try to write this down really quick before I change the slide, okay? So I'm gonna go see, you see there is on the bottom of the screen, promise was going to be again and again, don't worry about it. So like I mentioned, it has three parts. The actual webinar, which you can still register on our website, was October 18th, November 1st, and I'm doing a repeat of that today. And the next one is November 29th. So you're gonna have plenty of time between today and November 29th to get yourself used to this design, so we can do a great final one on November 29th. Also in box, you're gonna see that you have a manual, step-by-step of what we are doing. So in case you skip some step, because you will be following me here today on Fusion, hopefully step-by-step. You can, if you miss some step or something, you can follow on the instructions that you can find on this. And this is Eli's design for his drone, right? So again, he made some modifications because Eli likes to race drones, so he had to change the booms on the back and put it on an angle for speed. We're not going to get to change that part of the drone because of time that we have, but you guys can change it afterwards, and I hope you guys make this your own. So on the first one, we covered the basics for Fusion 360, mostly sketching, editing, construction lines, and stuff like that. But again, if you do not know Fusion, do not panic. We're going to work mostly on Sculpt mode today, so you can start halfway through. You have the files that I'm sharing with you. You're going to be cool. Also, if you missed the first one, it's on YouTube. So just look at our channel, Autodesk Education, and just search for drone webinar, and then you're going to find it over there. And then today, like I said, we're going to be looking at sculpt modes. I'm going to do some lofts. I'm going to show you guys some cam, just to show what Fusion can do. See, this is another example of how your drone can look like. And did you see how different it is from that first one? And that's also from Eli's design. So as you can see, he's not expecting everybody to be doing the same here. We can now have different results, okay? That's completely cool. Then on November 29, we're going to see how to do joints. We're going to do rendering. We're going to select the materials that we're going to use for this. So it's going to be super cool. And everybody's going to look different, right? Because you're going to be selecting your own materials and you're going to have your own final grade rendering there. So just so you know, going back, that is our last slide with the address for the box. So if you don't have it, now it's time for you to write it down because I'm moving on. So let's do a quick recap in case you guys were not there on the first one, just so you know how the interface of Fusion looks like. Okay, so if you had never seen Fusion before, now is your day. And if you have seen Fusion before, you might learn some terminology here, like when you go on Autodesk page and you see our videos and how we talk about the name of these things there, then you get more used to the verbiage. So the first one that you see there is the application bar. So that's the standard, right? Almost every software has that, how to open your file, but we say new design, and then new design from file. So these are the things you're going to use when you're starting, when you're opening your drawing. That's where you're going to save as well. On number 2, that's where you're going to change your preferences. So you have a default mode that you see on the screen, but you can make your own. That's where you're going to change units as well. So just FYI, we're going to be working in millimeters. So if your Fusion is set up for inches, you can either change there in your preferences or you can change under the units there that you see on number 5 on your left of the screen. You can change the units for each design separately. Or you can change millimeters the whole time. A lot of times I use millimeters. I come from a metric country. As you guys can tell, I do have an accent. I know that. I use millimeters a lot on my design because of that. But you guys can change and use whatever measurement you guys like the most. Number 3 is our toolbar, of course. Number 4 that you cannot see why I have that thing on is the cube. The view cube is a way to go around on your drawing. The canvas and marking menu appears only when you right-click with the button of your mouse anywhere on the screen. Gives you the same options at different places, so you don't have to be looking for the commands that you use a lot. One of my favorites is the timeline. You can go back on your drawing and look at stuff, you know, without having to delete everything. We can talk about that on the last one. It's more advanced there. And number 8 is, again, another part where you can either use to help your drawing or personalize. For example, I like to work with the grid on. Some people don't like to work with the grid on, so you can turn the grid off, or you can make the grid smaller or bigger there. Also, another thing we need to do here is how to use our mouse. So if you're using a mouse like I am, the scroll button is your friend in Fusion. You're going to use the scroll button a lot. For pan, for example, you just click and hold and move it around. The shift key and holding the scroll button is the orbit, which is like you're moving this thing in 3D. If you're using a Mac, yes, Fusion runs on Mac. Actually, I'm right now on a Mac doing this. You can use your trackpad. I saw a like on that one. Thank you. People like when I said Mac. You can use your trackpad. Now, I particularly don't like the trackpad. I don't use that a lot. I use a mouse, but it's up to you. You see the gestures there on your screen, what you can do. It's kind of intuitive, isn't it? So you guys can do that in Fusion too, which is cool, especially because Fusion has apps, right, for tablet and for your phone. So if you're working on Fusion on your computer, you can do that. But then if you have your phone and you have the Fusion app, it kind of goes like with the Mac, you know, trackpad type of gestures. After we are done today, please, please, please go learn more Fusion because it's awesome. You can go to help.autodesk.com. and check the Fusion page. Has lots of videos, and the videos are shorter than what this one is going to be. So if you have a question about, let's suppose, one command, how do I do a fillet? And you search, chances are you're going to have a 4-minute long video. So super quick for you to watch, and that's it. Visit the Design Academy for more projects. If you log in and if you create an account on Autodesk, you're gonna see this super easy. And next steps, no pun intended, that's a picture of the Under Armour shoe that was 3D printed and they use Fusion to design the shoe. So I thought it was cool to mention that. You can join the Autodesk Academy there, and then you can participate on an industry, Design for Industry challenges. The Design for Industry challenges is open to all students across the globe. They're usually short, 3 minutes each. 3 minutes, 3 months, 3 months. You cannot do a challenge in 3 minutes. And there are prizes and stuff like that. So without further ado, I'm gonna go into Fusion here. So if you guys already downloaded, let's open our Fusion, okay? So I'm opening my Fusion here. And please, please, please download those files, especially if today's the first time you are doing this. If you did not participate on the first one, you're gonna need those files. So I'm opening my Fusion. Hopefully you see the same thing I'm seeing. And here is my page, right? So if you downloaded the files, you can click here on this button that says upload. My Fusion is to open. And then select files. And then it's gonna go to your folder, whatever your folder is, download folder. And then you can click on whatever you put, those folders are downloaded. Fusion files are F3Z. So these are the latest Fusion files. And I'm not gonna do this because I have it already, but you guys or you can drag there. And then you say upload, and then it's gonna show up here on your data panel. So the name of this thing here is your data panel. If I go back to my original data panel, you see all the projects I created on Fusion. And then here are the libraries and samples that come with it. If you want to create a new project for today, I highly recommend just click here on new project. Then you can name this whatever, like I named my other one drone. I'm going to name this test just for you guys to see. Press enter, and then it creates your folder, right? As you know, the very, very cool thing about Fusion is that you can share your files with anybody. You can have great collaboration. So if I just click here on my Fab Fusion on the top here, it's gonna open on the web. So all my files, I'm outside of Fusion now, okay guys? I am on a browser. And it's opening everything that I'm working with, right? So see here, Eli, the guy who designed the drone, share his folder with me so I can see his files. I'm a contributor, I cannot change anything there, but I can see his files, I can download his files. This one, for example, is one that I share with a colleague of mine. He's an engineer, we are working on this project together. So if I click here, you can see the file. And then here you can invite more people to participate on this project, and you can see the activity. So you can see if people send comments to you, if they change it. So see here, Mike sent me a message, Fab, let's talk about this. And I'm like, sure. And I receive an email automatic telling me know that I should go and check what Mike wants to do about this project. So just to show you why it's important to create a project, you can share this with people, and it's super cool. I'm gonna close this now and go to Fusion. So I'm back here on my Fusion screen, and I'm gonna open my drone project, right? So you saw how to create a project, and I created a folder inside my project. So you create tons of folders inside your project here. So I'm opening my folder that has my project here, and that's my drone parts, right? So the one box that you guys had, you have these components there. You have the component plate, camera bracket, and this 210H. H is the shape of the drone, right? Make sure you download at least those for today. So because on the first one, we designed this component plate that I'm opening now. And if you were not there on the first one, you probably don't have that, which is okay, because you can download that on box and you start today. So I'm gonna make sure everybody has that open there. Hopefully everybody has it. Let me see some okay going on the screen, cool. I see a lot of people okay in this. That you guys have that. So, okay, let's see if you guys have the manual. If you downloaded the manual, we'll see that I suggested to. I'm gonna be mentioned today about what step I am doing. So you guys don't get lost on that, okay? So you know which step I'm doing on your manual. So the first step I'm gonna do it is I am going to change the geometry of my existing drawing. So I'm here. Let me go to my manual here to tell you guys. I am on page number 27, in case you want to follow me there. Okay? No hurry. You don't need to. But in case you want to, you can do that. So here, I can insert these existing parts. Let's suppose you're working on this project with somebody else, and somebody else created those parts, not you, and you want to insert this into your project. So you uploaded that, and then here, you're just going to click on the part, right-click with your mouse, and go into Insert into Current Design. So I'm going to press that because I want to insert the camera bracket of my drone into my design. On my case, my camera bracket is already showing in the correct position, the position I wanted it to be, because when I created that, of course, I had the intention. So I'm going to leave it there, but just so you guys know, it's showing in blue and show these arrows because technically I could move it. So let's suppose I didn't want that here. I could move this around. I can rotate. See here the options. I could rotate. I can do anything. But see, right now is no longer on the position. I don't like that, so I'm going to cancel this. To undo stuff in Fusion, super easy. Just do undo, move, it's back on the place that I like. Okay, I like this place, I'm gonna leave it. Now I'm gonna insert the top component plate. Same thing, we're gonna be repeating a lot of things today because you guys are learning, so by now you know, right click with the button of your mouse, insert into current design, and it's gonna insert same thing there. It's gonna show blue, I'm not gonna mess with it, I like the position, I'm gonna say okay. So hopefully you guys follow me on there. Make sure everybody's following me. Let me look at my Facebook page here, see that if I get a lot of likes here. Okay. Then finally, I'm going to insert this component here, which is the big motor, right? The big engine for my drone. Again, same thing, right click, insert into current design. And as you can see, I'm live because my phone was ringing. I'm going to ignore it because you guys are more important. And is inserting my big component there. Ta-da! Now you have your drone. I'm gonna say, okay, look how cool. You got a drone in like what, 10 minutes? Now, let's suppose you guys wanna look this around, right? So let's use the orbit command. So you can start the orbit by clicking here, where it says orbit, and then your cursor becomes this 3D looking thing, and you just click and rotate it around. Another way to do this, like I said, is using the shift of the keyboard, scroll button of your mouse, move it around, same thing. Same result, different ways to do it. To go back to the view you were before, just press this house here on your view cube. And then you are back on the same place you were before. Now, you guys notice that when you insert something like that on your browser, this is the browser, it says browser on the top. It has this symbol that looks like a chain. This symbol indicates that this has been inserted, but is still associated with the original drawing, or design. We do not want that, because if you change this into this one, it's going to change the original one, and your friend who shared that with you is going to be really mad. So let's right-click here with our mouse, and let's break this link, okay? So I'm breaking the link for the first component. I'm going to do the same for the second one. Again, right-click with your mouse, go down here where it says break the link. I'm going to stop a little bit so you guys can find it. Break the link. I'm going to do that again for the third component. Go down here, break the link. So now, if you make changes to this, you won't make change to the original design. So for example, this 210H component was shared from Eli, right? He shared that with me. He would not be happy with me if I changed his original drawing. Of course, I already saved these on my machine and stuff, but I want to make sure you guys know that. Also, in case you're wondering, Eli told me he bought the components in case you want to really build this drone. If you're going to 3D print this, there are plenty of websites where you can buy components for drones. I get a lot of that question. So that's what he shared with me. You guys probably already know that. If not, I'll see what I can share on the third webinar as far as links for you guys to build the drone. Again, if you guys are following me, the handout, manual, instructions, step by step, whatever you want to call this is page 27. Right? Great. So, if you don't want to see that, if that's too much to you, you can just click on the little bulb there to make this, if to make this invisible. If you are a CAD user, that's the freeze mode, the layer. That is the same thing, just different way to say this. So it's no longer visible there. We are not doing anything to it, not modifying it. We are not doing anything. I'm going to do the same for my camera bracket. I'm going to turn my camera bracket off. And one thing I notice here is that my bottom component needs these slots here. You guys probably can see. Let me zoom. Slots, right? Let me turn the camera bracket on again. It has the slots that fit in there. I need slots on the bottom. So you have many ways that you can create those slots. But let me try a way here to change that. I'm going to right-click on the top, and I'm going to say Create Sketch. That's going to change my view to a top view because the sketch is two-dimensional, right? So I'm seeing this from the top. I am going to select these two slots, and to do that, you just click with the left button anywhere on the screen, and you select the two slots. By the way, you guys notice that I click on the left, I drag this thing to the right, that's the window mode select. Anything that is inside, totally inside, will be selected. So if I do this, you notice I select the circle and this arc. I did not select the lines because they were not totally inside of that. If you do the same thing, click, scratch to the left, then you select everything that crosses that. If you click and drag to the left, why did I say scratch? I don't know. Drag and click and drag to the left. Everything that crosses with that window gets selected. So you can see here that I selected the lines, I selected the component plate, I selected the circle, but my actual slots did not get selected. Again, I'm going to repeat what I really want to select is these two slots, and hopefully you guys can do this. So I select these two slots, and now I'm going to use a command called modify. Under the modify is the press pull command. In certain modes here or in other software, this might be called extrude. But since I am on sketch mode, I'm going to just use this one. The moment I click on it, it changes my view back to 3D. The hotkey for that is a Q. If you just press Q on your keyboard. And as you can see here, if I go up, I'm extruding this up. If I go down, I'm extruding this down. And as I am extruding this down, see the operation changes to cut, and it becomes red. If I was going up, it was going to go back into new body because it's think I'm creating out of this. Did you see how smart Fusion is? It kind of understands what I want to do based on which direction I'm going. So if I'm going up, is new body. If I'm going down, is cut. And that's what you want to do. You can cut to a certain distance. You can cut to the top. Let's suppose I just want to cut halfway through. I could cut just half of the bottom plate. I can cut everything. On this case, I want to cut everything. Doesn't matter where I end because I'm not going to end anything under this. So I'm just going to put a little bit more here. Hopefully that's enough. I'm going to say okay. Ta-da! I have my two slots on the bottom, and I didn't have to do the whole drawing again or measure anything again and copy and paste or anything like that. So hopefully you guys are there with me. Let me go to my original mode view by clicking the top of my component there. So hopefully I have everybody here. Now, just to let you know what Eli told me here, the lighter you make these things, the better it is to fly a drone, obviously. So you can keep doing this type of cuts if you want. For example, the center of this arm here that he told me is called the broom. You can cut it, create another slot here just to make it more lightweight. Another thing you can do, you can create fillets to make it more aerodynamic. So I can click on this part here and create a fillet. Let's suppose I'm going to just click any number, 5 millimeters. And you see how now this is round? So you make this more aerodynamic. So we can do that too. Let's just to show you how to do a fillet so you guys can follow me here. So let me do create. I'm going to go into, where's my modify? Sorry, fillet. And I'm going to select my part. So I'm going to select this one And I'm gonna select that internal one there. See how Fusion knows I'm selecting corners here because of the type of command I am. And I can just keep selecting. You don't need to press anything. Sometimes if you're in sketch mode, you have to press shift to keep selecting something, but I'm not on sketch environment. I am on the 3D environment here. So I can just select that. You should have 8, guys, there. Everybody following me here should have 8. And let's see, I did 3 millimeters before, or 5. Let me do 5 again and see how it looks like, because you can see how it looks before you actually finish. So let me see if I like that. I like the way it looks, so I'm gonna say okay. So now you have a more organic, more aerodynamic form in there. So hopefully everybody's there with me on that mode, and everybody can see what I'm doing. So guys, just so you know, here again, I am on page, I'm on step 7. We're gonna start creating the fuselage. So we're gonna start doing the actually 3D solid shape here. So in order to create the fuselage, the way we're gonna do it is we almost tell in Fusion the sections of what we want the fuselage to look like, and then building around it. So if you guys remember, let me go back here to the PowerPoint because it might help. Let me see this. For example, I have to tell Fusion that that's the shape that I want. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create 3 sections, shapes, and then I'm gonna connect those shapes, so the sections, this profile, in order to build around it, okay? So I'm gonna make my camera bracket available in visual again, so I can see it and I can modify it if I'm not modifying it, but just in case so you can see. So I have a better sense of the size I need my fuselage to be. In order to create these sections, I need to have a drawing plane, right? Right now, my origin, let me turn it on. I have my main planes here. Turn it off. You guys can see my main XYZ planes there. Let me see if I can get my layout grid out so it's better for you guys to see. I turned my layout grid off, just so you guys know. But I'm not designing in any one of these 3 planes. I'm designing in different planes. So I have to create planes where I can design. I'm turning everything back on. I want to see everything. So I can just construct a different plane where I'm going to be drawing, right? So I'm going to use the offset plane command here. And my reference is going to be the camera bracket. So my start of my fuselage is going to be the camera bracket. I'm going to start here. I'm going to draw all the way going on top of the battery package here and ending at the end here. So I'm looking at my drone from the back, the camera is on the front. And I want to offset from the camera, but I'm not seeing the camera very well from this angle, so I'm going to press Shift, the scroll button of my mouse so I can orbit. I'm still inside the offset plane command. And I'm going to say that I want this like exactly aligned with the front of my camera. So here's in yellow is the plane. I could use this arrow and put my plane far away from the drone. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to say okay. So the distance is 0 millimeters. Keep in mind that this square is a graphic representation of my plane. Of course, is a plane, so it's infinite. Remember that geometry class 101? A plane is infinite in every direction. So even though it's a small square, doesn't mean that it's really small. It's actually infinite. So that's my first one. I want a second one right in the middle of the drone because that's my other reference point to draw my fuselage. So let me turn my component here, the actual powertrain. Let me turn it off so I can visualize this better. And I'm going to take the other orange off so I can see the better. So I want one right in the middle here. And how do I do that? How do I show that it's exactly in the middle? Easy. Go to construction, say that you need a mid-plane. And a mid-plane going where, right? Fusion's going to be like, I don't know what mid-plane you're talking about. And that's why you can select which one you want it to be middle of. So I'm going to say this one is one middle part that I want. And the other one, I'm going to rotate so I can see is this one. Voila, is right in the middle between these 2 surfaces that I selected, right in the middle. If I want to make sure that that's what it is, I'm pressing OK here. I can click the view cube on the top, get a top view. See the yellow line there, guys? Right in the middle of that, in between those 2 planes that I had just selected. This one shows bigger because, again, Fusion tries to understand what you're doing the same way I understood that I was extruding in order to cut something. You understand that this plane is bigger because that has all these parts inside that it needs to englobe all these parts inside. Now, the last one, and I'm going to turn my component back on here, I want it to be right at the end, a little bit farther away from these wires, so that's where I'm going to close my fuselage. So I'm going to use the offset again, but this time I'm going to offset in reference to this plane I just created, and I'm going to move this towards the end until I know it passes those connectors there. So if I see a right view, I can see what it is. See my arrow here is showing yellow because it's not defined. The blue one is the one that is my reference. And I can go back and forth here. So I'm gonna go right where my connector's end. I'm gonna say okay. And then I'm going back to see if I like what it is. I like what it is. So hopefully everybody's there with me. And if you were not there with me, that's fine. Just go to page 32, step number 7. That's where we are right now. And let me go back here. I want to check my Facebook, see if everybody's with me. Yes, I got a heart. Thank you. Thank you. I got a heart. Thank you. So now we're going to do the actual sections, right? Where we're going to be starting the fuselage here. So I'm going to go back there because I want to make sure I'm on step number 7. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go into sketch mode. So the sketch on the toolbar up there, I'm going to, you know, guys, if this is too much on your face, you can close this. It's okay. It's still there. If you need to open this again, it's easy. See the symbol right here on the top at the left? Looks like a tic-tac-toe. Some people say it looks like the Rubik's Cube. Whatever way, just click on it, it shows up again. No biggie. The data panel symbol, officially. Officially called the data panel symbol. I call the tic-tac-toe, but don't quote me on that. It's just my joke. So I'm going to be here back to sketch, and I'm going to do rectangle, center rectangle. So my first shape, per se, is going to be you know, a rectangle. But I need to tell Fusion where am I drawing this rectangle. And I'm going to use that first construction plane that I did, right? So I'm going to go there into my first construction plane. I click on it. So it changed my view so I can see my planes. But I'm seeing the wrong way. I'm seeing the wires first. I don't want to see that. So let me rotate a little bit. And I don't know how you guys started yours. If you have the same view, I'm going to click on the back because I get a better view because I want to see the camera. Because now Fusion is asking me to place the center point, and I want the center point of that rectangle to be exactly the center point of my camera. Because I want to make sure I don't hide that I can still see my camera, right? So if I click at that center point and I just move my cursor, you see that the rectangle stretches, right? And it shows numbers there, the size of the rectangle, depending on how am I moving this. I'm actually going to make this a square, so it's going to be 50 by 50. You can just type 50, and you see that it changed. To go to the second one, just press Tab and press 50, and I change the second one. Do not move your cursor, or you're going to lose these numbers, and you're going to have to type again. And then just press Enter. And that's it. That's a rectangle. Now, let's see if we did this on the right place, because when we are looking at this from this angle, it's kind of hard to see. Yes, it's on the front. We like this, so now we can say stop sketch. Now we're going to repeat the same thing we just did on the plane number 2. So I can just go here, and I'm going to go to sketch, rectangle, center rectangle, right? And I have to see which plane am I drawing this. So I'm going to say I'm drawing on plane number 2. I can click on the browser. I can click on the plane. Doesn't matter. And now it's a little bit, can be confusing because you're seeing everything. That's why I like to change. That's me. You guys are going to develop your own way to draw and do things on Fusion. I like to see from this angle. And now I'm going to be drawing on top of each other. You could go to sketch here and turn it off, because every time you create a new sketch, it's creating new sketch references here, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I like it. I know it's doing what I want to do, so I just leave it on. So I'm clicking at the center again, and I'm creating another one exactly the same size. You can just click on the other one for reference, so you can enter the numbers again. I'm just gonna click here, you know, and hopefully that would be 50 by 50. And let's look at cube view, see how did it go. I don't see my drawing. I see my drawing. That size is good if you turn it on. Let me turn it off. You see this? Hopefully you guys see this. Let me give you a time in case your screen is going back and forth. Turning it on here. So I see this, stop sketch. Same thing, that's what I'm saying. Today we're gonna repeat a lot. So if you miss one step, don't worry, you're gonna repeat it so you can catch up with everybody. Now let's do the last one on the last plane. We're gonna go to sketch, but this time we're gonna do a circle. Go to circle, center, diameter. And we're gonna do this on this plane. So I select that plane, and I'm gonna use that center point that I used before as a reference. Oops, I think I missed it. Let me zoom this. Yeah, I did not get the center. So I'm just gonna press escape to get out of this. Okay, and go to sketch again, circle, center diameter, and I'm gonna get the center. See how my cursor becomes this square? Because I'm right in the center here. Now I like it. And I'm gonna do the second circle kind of inserted into that bigger square. And once you hit that square, my cursor changed to another reference point, to another square. There, we talked a lot about this on the first one, a little bit more. We talked about constraints, which you see on the right side of my screen there. And you can watch that video in case you want to know more about constraints. So I like it. I'm going to say stop sketch. I'm going to go to my view here to see if I got all three. Let me turn this off so you guys can see. And let me turn the plate off, the first plate. So can you see my three things here? Now, one thing is when you hover on your profiles, you should be able to switch the whole profile like this into one thing. If you switch into parts like mine is doing, that's not a good thing. I need to delete this line because after that, we're going to use the Loft command, and we want the Loft command to pick up the whole profile. So I am going to right click here and do edit sketch, edit, sketch. I'm saying both ways, so if you didn't understand the first way, you understand the second. So I'm going edit, and then I'm gonna delete this line because this line is gonna be a problem. I'm just clicking on it and pressing delete because that line is gonna give me a headache. That's a construction line. Every time you see a line that is dashed like that is a construction line. So I do not like that line. Let me turn that other one off because that line is going to give me a headache. And if that line does not want to go anywhere because of the way you did it, you can always just draw another rectangle. So I deleted the line now. Let me turn my other ones back on. Okay. Did I lose my circle? If I lose my circle, I can just go back. By the way, which is a good time to show you the timeline here. The timeline is a very, very cool feature of Fusion. What you can do is if you, for example, open this drawing from somebody else and you don't know where people did what, you just hover and it highlights there what was done at that time. And I can go back on my timeline like this and make a change on that one part and then not change everything else. Unless, of course, it's parametric. Then you cannot do that because it would be... you know, you will be changing the parametric measures. But I think I accidentally delete my circle, so I'm just gonna go undo here to get my circle back. Yeah, it isn't showing hide things, so I'm gonna undo until I find my circle. I bet I deleted my circle. See here, the delete. So let me go back. Don't delete my circle. Now I think I completely lost the circle. I'm just gonna do it again. Let me go, where's my plane? Let me turn my plane on. Yeah, I'm gonna just repeat this, go here, create sketch, right, like we did the first time. So I selected my plane. I said I wanna create a sketch. The sketch that I wanna create is a circle diameter. And I'm gonna go, again, I want this on this plane. The thing is I need to see right here, I want the center, so I just changed the mode so I could see the center, and I'm clicking here. And now I have my circle back. I'm just gonna say stop sketch and go back here. And I don't want that. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into my Loft command. And that's what we want to do. We want to create this scope mode here. So I'm gonna go into create form. And Fusion will let you know that you have entered the scoped environment. You can just say okay here because you want to be on the scoped environment, and you're going to do create, and then you're going to say Loft. And go from the front to the back, saying that these are the profiles that you want. This is a second profile, this is a second profile. So that's giving you the overall shape, right? But do you guys see how many surfaces I have? I have way too many surfaces. All these little rectangles here is one surface. I don't want that. So I want to simplify this shape as much as I can before I create my loft. So I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go back into the model environment, and I'm going to make this as close to the final shape as possible. So I'm going to go here on the sketch mode, and I'm going to round up those rectangles because there's still, remember what Eli told us, let's make this more aerodynamic as much as I can. I'm going to use the fillet here, and I'm going to round these things up. So I'm going to select that first rectangle, and I'm going to create on the bottom and top here. And this is a 12 millimeters, a little bit too big. I'm going to put 10 millimeter on my fillet, and I'm going to just repeat that on the other corners. Again, 10 millimeter is saved my measurement. 10 millimeters, 10 millimeters. The cool thing is that that allows you guys a way, I'm gonna say stop sketch, for you guys to see me doing the loft again. If you missed that, I'm gonna go back there, don't worry. So let me go see my view here, good, I like it. So I'm gonna do the same thing for the second one. I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna say edit, sketch, and what I wanna do here is fillet. And I'm going to repeat the same thing I did for the first one. This line and this line, not 12, 10. I want 10, so this and this. And of course, one is on top of the other. So it looks like you just have one, you have two. It's just that the lines are exactly one on top of the other. And I'm going to say stop sketch. And I'm going to go into that view that I like because I can see the whole thing. I like how this looks like now. So let me go back to create form now, and let's do the loft. Again, Fusion will warn you, you're going to a scoped environment. In case you're wondering why the pieces look like a ghost, it's because you exit the model mode. But they exist, they're the same. So I'm gonna go back, create, loft, and again, I'm gonna select my profiles from front to back because yes, it does matter. Oh, I like this much better now. Check it out. This shape is way more organic, has way less faces for me to have to worry about. And it looks beautiful. And if you guys like it, you can just say, okay, I am going to make a little bit less faces to make it easier, excuse me, for us later to change this. So on the length spacing here, that says uniform, keep it uniform. Instead of 8, I'm gonna put 4. So I have less faces to worry about later. And also because actually, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to have to create faces. Just so you guys know, you can create faces after the fact. So I'm actually not doing the best way to do this, but it's the way that you guys are going to learn the better. So not necessarily the best practice once you're an experienced Fusion user, but the easiest way for you to learn and to see all the features. So I'm going to say, okay. And that's what you have there. I'm gonna hide my plane so I can see this better. In case you are following me on the manual, I'm on page 34, step 20, more or less, give or take, okay? So now, because the drone is symmetrical, I do not need to repeat everything I do on one side and the other. So it sounds counterintuitive, but I'm gonna delete half of what I have done here because later on I'm just gonna mirror this. And to delete things, I can use the window the same way I used on the other, you know, to select those slots, remember? So just to show you guys, I can use the window the same way, right? And I'm selecting this. I don't like it very much when I'm using surfaces, again, personal, right? You can select anyway. So just click on the face on the surface, the face of the surface. Each one of these things are a face. And press Shift and keep selecting it. Oops, I select a point I didn't want to select. So let me go. See the point here? So I'm just going to go here, click, Shift, select, select, select. I know it takes forever, but it gives you guys time to follow me. I do not want to select. If you select something you don't want to select, just click on it again, and it unselects the thing, okay? So I'm clicking here. I cannot see the bottom, so no worries. I can just orbit this around. I'm going to orbit. Okay. Press Escape to get out of orbit and keep selecting. And see, when it shows these points here, don't click on it. It's showing like behind the face. Okay, so now that I select everything I want to delete, just press Delete. As simple as that. And I deleted half of my drone. The fuselage, not the whole drone. Let's not worry about it. So now let's do the fuselage part that is going to protect the motor, right? But without going all the way to the blades. And they're going to be built on top of this area here that we designed before, the bottom plate. And to do that, we're going to go create cylinder. And now I need to select where I'm going to start this, right? So I'm going to select that part there, this component. And did you see how my cursor changed and is now across? Because it wants to know where's the center of my cylinder. I'm going to switch to top view so I can see this better. I'm going to do this again, so don't freak out if you guys have not seen what I've done, if I was too fast. And here is this circle in blue is showing me the center of that circle there. Another way to know if you're on the center, sometimes when you click stuff on Fusion, you see this dotted blue line. It's because it's aligning you with a reference point, like the center of this arch or the midpoint of something. When it's midpoint, it switches to triangle, like see here, a triangle, that's the midpoint. It's exactly like CAD. CAD has the same symbols. So, and if you do this, like if I come from the bottom here, I see that that's exactly the middle. So I like that. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to say that I want this cylinder as big as this big circle we designed to put the motor. Now, height-wise, we're going to change this height from 12.5 to 15. Mine shows 12.5 because probably was the last thing I did, but your guys can show any other number. And the height of the faces, instead of 4, I'm going to put 3. And let me see. So you guys see there? How cool is that? You already have your cylinder. Let me switch back to 4 so you see what it does. It creates more faces here, that's all. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm selecting 3, 3. It's going to change. 3. I like 3. I'm going to say OK. So now that you guys saw this, we can repeat that on the same. Now, position-wise, see how this is on top of my plate? If you wanted this to be under the plate, so it's built within the plate, you can just select this. Actually, I'm using the window. Here, I select this, and I can right-click with my mouse and move this thing around. Like here, the move copy, and it changes to this. Symbols here that allow me to rotate this part around. I'm not rotating this because I like where it is. And if you click on the arrow, I can go up or down. I'm going to go down. I'm eyeballing this because it's just a demo. Traditionally, it would be nice if you guys have a proper distance. So here on the Y, 3.51. I can put a proper one. Let's put minus because I'm going down, right? So it's minus. I'm putting -4. So I make sure that the second cylinder we do goes the same distance. So I'm going to go here and repeat the cylinder that you guys just did. Cylinder. Same thing, where do I want my cylinder? I want it here. Now it becomes the circle. I'm going to switch to top view. Find the circle center. Click here. Again, remember 15 millimeters. And I just want 3 as the height faces. I'm going to say, OK. Let's switch here. See if we created. Now let's move this down. Right click on the mouse. Move copy. We're just moving. And we did what? Minus, I already don't remember what I did. I think it was -6, -10, minus something. But let's go minus here. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to go -6. Let me see if it... I just want to go down enough that it's covering the bottom plate frame there. Okay? So now we have to connect these two parts because we want to cover this part of the drone as well. Otherwise, it's not very aerodynamic. We don't want this to break anytime it falls on the ground. We want to protect this thing. So we're going to use a command that is called the bridge command that connects two parts of a solid, right, of a scope, on a scope mode. But the bridge command needs to know what to connect. So in order to do that, we have to have, quote unquote, two passageways. We have to have two holes to connect. So in order to do that, we're going to actually create an opening on the motor. So I'm going to orbit this around so I can see this better and see where it connects. See here, these faces, 1, 2, 3, these three faces kind of go around. So I'm gonna select them. I can delete 1, 2, or 3. I think I'm gonna delete 3 to fit everything. Yeah, I'm gonna need to delete 3. So I'm gonna select this one and I'm gonna delete. And it's gonna open this, literally make a hole on it. Don't freak out. That's what we're supposed to do. It's gonna be good later. You can always undo. Remember, beautiful thing about Fusion, you can always undo. Here it's telling you exactly what I just did. This thing keeps growing because it's showing what I did. And if I go back in time here, it will undo, quote unquote undo. It's not undoing anything, but it's at least showing you what you had before. Now, the thing about the bridge command is that in order to use it, you have to connect the same number of faces. So I just deleted 3 faces, so I need 3 faces openings on the side, and we don't have 3, you only have 2. So I'm gonna need to create extra faces here, right? And that's what I was saying in the beginning. I didn't do it the best way, but it was on purpose to show you how to create faces here. So I'm gonna use modify insert edge to create another face. So I'm gonna select this as my reference, and if you look here on my window, my dialog, it's saying that the insertion is single. I'm gonna say both because I want to insert one on each side, or not. It depends on whatever you guys want to do. It's your drone, remember? And I can decide like the distance of these two. Of course, because I said both sides is gonna be symmetrical, but you can decide any other way. I'm gonna say okay. And right now I have 1, 2. But this is too big. I figured that if I cut this thing, it's going to create a giganormous hole on my fuselage. In case you are following me on the manual, I am on step 29, page 36. So I'm going to create more edges here too. I kind of like what I'm doing. You also have the subdivide command, but the subdivide command subdivides kind of symmetrical, kind of finding the shape, and I want to have more control what I'm doing. So that's why I like to create my own to insert my edges here. So I'm going to select this and this together, and I'm going to insert another edge here on the bottom. I think I like this. There where it is, and it changes my shape. See how what it did to my shape? Kind of create a little like you pressure it inside. If you don't like it, you can always undo. It's hard to figure it out where it's going to be if you don't have a lot of experience. And I'm going to insert another edge, like 1, 2. Let me see if I like this one better. If I insert here on the top. So I have that kind of shape. The problem now is that I have 1, 2, I need 3. So let me insert another one, because you can only do that, like I said. So I'm going to select this guy here, and I'm not going to do both. I'm just going to do single. And I just want to insert to the other side. So let me do a minus location and see what it shows me. It's not liking my thing, but it's okay. I'm going to do here. Let's see if that works, okay? So we're going to delete these 3 faces. So shift. I'm deleting it. I made another hole. So now I can use the bridge. So I'm going to go here, modify, bridge. And bridge is asking me what is the side 1, side 2. So for side 1, I want to select this whole area here. So I'm just going to click here and select the perimeter, not the area. Sorry, use my proper geometry terms from college, perimeter or high school, whatever you guys are right now. And then I'm going to click here to change to side 2. I'm going to orbit a little bit because I want to see the other side. And I'm gonna select this one as side 2 and press OK. And here you have it. So you connect both sides. I'm going to repeat the same thing for this other one, okay? So if you didn't have a chance to do it, now is your turn. I'm going to be doing this a little bit quicker here so we don't run out of time because we have an hour for this. And then I'm going to select 1, 2 surfaces. Let me look. Doesn't necessarily need to be 3 like the other one. But I think I'm going to need 3 too. Yeah, so I'm going to need 3. So I'm going to press this, delete. And I'm going to have to create some more faces on the other side because I'm going to need 3 as well. And I only have 2 right now. This one is going to be easier because it's more in the center. I don't have to worry about the edges so far. So modify, insert edge. I want double both. This guy, 2. Let me move this a little bit closer. Okay. And now I can create another one here because I don't want to delete this whole thing. So I'm gonna go insert edge on this one, not both, single. I like it right it is, okay. And if it doesn't work, let's always undo and do it again. Don't worry, if you're doing this with me and yours doesn't look like it and I delete it, like, you know, if I think, oh no, this is too big, it's gonna be huge, I can always go undo, create another edge. So for example, if I wanna create another edge there, just to see, I can do that, okay? I'm not doing that because we're gonna run out of time, but I wanna show you. Let's go bridge again, modify, bridge, select, double click to select the whole perimeter. Side 2 is gonna be that. I'm orbiting so I can see this better. It didn't work so far. What am I doing? Here, zooming. Just press escape to get out of orbit, double click, say okay. And that's it. You have your second one. So yours should look like that, hopefully. And if it doesn't, again, don't worry. I have this all step by step there. And we're going to have the video on YouTube later. Right? And now we're going to duplicate this. Remember how I said you didn't have to do everything because we're just going to double this to the other side. And here is where you are, where it says symmetry. So we're going to do a mirror in order to duplicate. So just select mirror, duplicate. And then we're going to select this whole thing as the thing we're going to duplicate. And the mirror plane, we're going to have to tell Fusion what is the mirror plane. Otherwise, we won't know which direction you want to go. And I'm going to make my origin visible here. I just click on the light bulb. And my mirror plane is going to be this one, this vertical one. I'm going to select that. And that's it. You have it already. I'm going to say OK. And it should look like this. Or similar. Depending on how many faces you put, it might look different. So a lot of times the top, when you do mirror, they don't connect. You can merge edges easily on Fusion. I'm seeing a top view here. It looks like they connect. You might have a little bit of overlap here. But I can always double check. I can go into my merge edge under modify to see some selecting this edge. It looks like they are very close, but I'm selecting the second one. You see 2 lines, I'm zooming. 2 lines, right? So actually I select both on group 1. So let me undo this. Let me unselect them. Just click them again. Now we have 4. Group 2 is going to be this one. I'm selecting them and saying OK. And now they are 1 line and choosing green. They were like kind of overlapping a little bit. And you can repeat the same thing on the bottom of your fuselage to make sure it's perfect there. So I'm gonna go here. If I zoom a lot, this one looks okay, but like this line, this black line looks a little bit too dark. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do modify here, merge edge. Let me get this out of my way. And the first one, I'm just gonna double click so it selects the whole extension. Escape to get out of the pan mode or whatever mode you are. Group 2, selecting group 2, press OK. It did do a better job. Now it's green. And your shape at the end of the fuselage probably should look better to more of a round shape. And here you have your fuselage, right? We merged these 2 parts there. So now that we have this done, I see here some questions. People are asking me about how do I make this thing, right? So how do you machine this? So of course I'm not gonna mess with this whole model because it is complex for what we have, the time that we have now. But I wanna show you how to create a simple toolpath for a part here. So let's suppose you wanna create a toolpath for our bracket. And that is super easy to do here using Fusion. So let me maximize my screen here. You are now in the model environment. So if you want to switch this, you can just go to CAM. So you switch to the CAM environment and you're going to create a new setup. So I'm here on setup, new setup, I'm creating a new setup. You see here, kind of transparent in this ghost mode is the stock. So it's showing you the stock. I'm going to go here to this tab that shows the stock and I'm going to put a little bit more of offset on my sign. Instead of 1 millimeter, I'm putting 6. On the bottom, I'm going to put 6 as well. Press OK. And here is giving you this idea of what the stock looks like. And I'm going to do a 3D adaptive clearing for this part. And here in each one of these tabs, you can change a lot of information. Of course, this is just a quick demo. I'm just going to select a tool. And inside of Fusion, you have a library of tools that you can select from. I'm going to use this aluminum bit here. I'm going to put a quarter. And I'm going to get this bull nose. One, I'm gonna say okay, and you see here a ghost transparent image of your tool. I'm gonna say okay, I like it the way this is looking, and it shows you the path in blue. See here? You can also even look how this cut is gonna be. I'm gonna create in actions. It's gonna open this other window here. I'm gonna click on stock so I can see the stock, and I can see this happening by just pressing play on the bottom of the screen. And then you can see what the actual toolpath, what it would be, and I love that part. Because then before you actually cut this piece, you can see what will happen, and if there are any problems, the software here would show you, Fusion 360 would show you warnings about things that might not be working well, and that's cutting our camera bracket. But now let's go back to the model. It's almost done and it's exciting, and about what the next steps are gonna be for the next part, okay? So let me close this here and stop this animation and close this and go back to my model. Next time we're gonna finalize this a little bit more. We're gonna close the bottom of the motor here where the blades are gonna be. If you wanna see if everything looks okay, you can just turn your components back on to give a kind of a look. For example, mine, I'm gonna need to modify and make it taller because the battery is not completely there. And that's cool. I want this because I want you guys to learn how to modify this yourselves. So to modify a face or the whole part, you can just right click on it, it says edit form, and then Fusion allows you to play with this like it's Play-Doh. So you can just put it up and like this. You can rotate the parts. Look, it's like Play-Doh. On this case, I selected the whole surface. You can do this by just selecting a point, by just selecting a line on your surface and just pull the line. So for example, if I just select this line, I can just modify that line and just edit that one thing that I see, just the line. So it doesn't do the same things. I moved too much. That I was doing is crazy. So you can then play with this, shape this a little bit. I'm not doing this. This is crazy. I don't want to, it doesn't look like I'm modifying the whole thing. So you can modify this any way you want, right? And then your finished form should be, you know, looking, see here, this is my other drone demos here, and each one looks a little bit different because I'm not using proper measurements. But you guys can do this any way you like. Let me go back to my drone and show you some other cool ones. So you can see there. And then when you're satisfied with your form, you can just click Finish Form, and you get out of scope mode, and you have a more finalized form that you can render, and that's what we're gonna do next week. So for example, this one, that's the one you saw on the PowerPoint, is a more finalized form that Eli created that I wanna share with you, and then you can render and anything. So that's what I had for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put comments on Facebook. I will try to answer those. So see here, the other one. And please join us for the final part of this from now until November 28th. please finish your form of your fusion of your drone, so you can start working on that and do the rendering and choosing materials and finalizing it to look awesome for you guys. And then I ran out of time today, but I can show you cam as well, do a quick cam demo on how you can create a toolpath for the camera bracket for the drone, okay? I appreciate you guys all here today. I see a lot of people here. I said, oh, thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate it. And if you have any comments, questions, you can email me, and you can put comments there in our Facebook page. Thank you, guys. Have a great day, whatever you are in the country. Bye-bye.